What did you say?
What was that?
I can't
hear you.
I have
I'm ringing
ringing
in my ears.
Same. We are both partially deaf.
Different. One has it done to them, and the other does it to themselves.
So, my grandson is playing hockey now, and he's pretty good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. If you don't keep them busy, though, they'll just end up going down Dope Road.
Yes, and you know what? They have to wear nice clothes to the rink. None of those droopy drawers.
Droopy drawers. Aren't they just awful? It makes me want to stand on the street and hand out belts to all of them.
And then there's the girls with their belly button rings. Oh, gosh. Belly button rings and the bullying that goes on. And they never call.
And what about those hairstyles? If it's not shaved into a mohawk, it's covering their eyes. They're all going to need glasses.
You know, I had some kids riding their bikes and skateboards kind of close to my house. And to myself, I just said, keep going, keep going. But you know what? They stopped right in front of my house.
They didn't.
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, I had to show them I wasn't scared. So I just opened my door and I stared them down.
They were probably looking for a place to buy drugs or for something to steal so they could use the money to buy drugs with.
Yeah, well, I stared at them and then I said, go on, get out of here.
That must have scared them. Then what happened?
Well, they made some very rude gestures and they said things that I didn't quite catch, but I knew it wasn't nice.
I know what you mean. I'm always having to cross the road to avoid a group of teenagers. By the time I make it to the store and back, I feel like I walked 10 clicks.
Well, what else could you do? Let them steal your wallet?
I don't know what's wrong with the kids these days. No spanking. That must be the problem.
And no respect for adults.
I've got nothing good to say about them.
Me neither.
What about you, Gloria?
Dear Grandpa, thanks for your letter. I don't think you're rambling, although maybe a bit foolish. Some of the things you talked about I would consider to be too much information. But the funny thing was that your letter, and your foolishness, reminded me of a dream I had a while back, a dream that I've never forgotten. As the dream began, I was wandering in a lonely field on a beautiful dark night with wisps of fog or cloud lying low to the ground. I felt kind of strange, and I looked at my hands. My hands were very wrinkled and very old-looking. I felt my face, and it too was different, covered with long white whiskers, and even my knees were bent and shaking. I turned into an old man, even though I knew I was still a teen. The thought really frightened me, and I didn't know whether to run or just lie down and cry. Then, through the mists, an old man with snow-white hair and a pleasant and smiling face approached me. He had an aura about him that calmed me immediately. He beckoned me to approach him.
What is the trouble, my son? You look very disturbed.
I am disturbed, I replied. I've turned into an old man, and it frightens me. I have my whole life to live, and if this situation continues, I am not long for this world.
You are fine, he assures me. I merely wanted to point out to you that throughout your life you must always strive to stay young. You must think young, you must act young, and always feel young in your heart. Being called an old fool at 80 is much better than being called an old fart at 65.
It was the strangest dream I've ever had, but it made me realize that although our childhoods are really different, we both can find ways to be foolish. Talk to you soon, your foolish grandson.
Still as stubborn as ever.
No.
How can you see with all that hair in your face?
I don't know.
What does that sign say down there?
Same. We both have trouble seeing.
Different. One is going blind, the other is blinding himself.
And so my mom was waiting for me at the bus stop. And I guess she parked too close to this old man's house.
What happened?
Well, he comes out screaming at her and giving her the middle finger.
What did she do?
She got out of there and called me on my cell to meet her at the next bus stop.
Unbelievable. Probably off his meds or something.
No kidding.
One time, I was riding my skateboard with my friends, and we stopped in front of this house because we were like out of breath or something. And then this old woman comes out and like starts screaming at us.
What did you do?
I started laughing. She was wearing the funniest clothes. And then I told her it was a free sidewalk.
If I know old people, that didn't set too well.
No, she went to my mom and said I was swearing at her, which I totally wasn't.
Typical cranky old people lying about innocent kids to get them in trouble just because they hate their own lives.
I've got nothing good to say about them.
Neither do I.
What about you, Alex?